everybody. Welcome to Super Dwarf Sunday at Behavior Education. We're Lori and Jim. This is Ceti, and he's from Reach Out Reptiles.
Perfect. Cut. We're good.
You try.
Hey everybody. Welcome to Super Dwarf Sunday at Behavior Education. We're Lori and Jim, and this is Ceti from Reach Out Reptiles.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019, and here I am at FedEx, once again, picking up a new family member. Jim couldn't be here with me this morning, so I will have to videotape this myself. Okay, so here I am in my van outside of FedEx. It is an hour drive home, so I'm not leaving the snake in the box until we get home. I always put him in a transport container for the drive home. I'll do another video once we get home. This one's just going to be real quick to get him out of the box so that I can make sure that he's okay. Okay, now that I think I figured out how to open the box, very nice. It's like a little cake box. Oh, there he is. And I see a lot of other goodies in here, but the most important thing is the animal. So I will look at these other things at home. I just really want to make sure that this little guy is okay. So I want to get him out and get him into the transport container. Hi, little guy. Are you okay? It's all right. Okay, here he is. Hi, little guy. I'm just going to put you right in here. There you go. And it's kind of weird to not see a carpet python or a Brettles python in here, but he looks like he did fine for the trip, and I'm just gonna let him be in there and come out on his own. Okay, I'm at a red light on the way home, and I just had to take a quick video to show you that he is using his perching in his little transport tub. Ah, no, you have to stay in there. Okay, well, here we are. I just got home with the snake, and I'll get him squared away and inside here in just a few minutes. I know you guys are hungry. I'm gonna feed you. I had to go get a new family member. Sorry. We're home. I just have to get him and all his stuff inside the house, and then I have to come out and feed the horses. Okay, so I'm home with the new snake, the little Super Dwarf Reticulated Python that somehow Garrett Hartle manipulated me into test driving. But he is super cute. Here he is. He spent the whole ride home on the perching, and then as soon as I got him in the house and brought him inside, he got down on the ground. But I've put some water in there for him, and I'm just going to let him be for now. There's lots and lots of interesting smells for him here that he's going to have to get used to. Horses, dogs, cats, other snakes. So we just need to let him acclimate on his own time. Hey everybody, so this is day 2 of our Super Dwarf Reticulated Python, TC, short for Ceti, being with us. And I just wanted to do a quick sort of midweek update for our show that's going to air on Sunday, introducing him to everybody and talking about why we have him and what we're going to be doing with him here. So this is the quarantine setup that we have him in. He's got perching in here, 2 hides, and a water dish right now. And other than the first day, 2 days ago when we brought him home, he hasn't been out. He's been hiding, and he's been hiding on the side of the enclosure that has the warm side. So we're just going to take a quick peek at him. There's the little guy. So he just seems very shy right now, and what we're doing is just, we are checking on him every day, but we're just leaving him alone to get acclimated. So I'm just going to put everything back in, and we're leaving him alone. I just do check on him periodically a couple of times a day to make sure that he's doing all right. And other than that, we're giving him time to settle in and feel safe. So this is Friday, and it is July 26th, and checking on Ceti, he was still in his hide a few minutes ago, and he hasn't left his hide since we got home. So I want to stretch him just a little bit. I took his hide out, and I did pick him up, and he was calmly tongue flicking and seemed slightly nervous, but I wanted to make sure that he knew there were perches in here and that there was water in here, and that he could come out of his hide, because on the way home he was using the perches and moving around the enclosure, and then once I put the hide in here, the black plastic hide, when we got home, he hasn't left it. But he's been here almost 4 days, so I did want to take him out and make sure that if he seemed okay with it, he explored his quarantine tub a little bit and knew that the perches and the water were available. So I am going to put his hide back in. So I've put his hide back in. His hide is back in, and I've put the lid back on the tub, and I don't know if you can see through the opaque lid that he is tongue flicking and moving around some. And I'll just be curious to see if he goes right back into his hide or if he explores the enclosure a little bit. Ceti is actively moving around his enclosure right now. I just took the lid off to get a few shots. He got here on Tuesday morning, July 23rd, and this is Friday midday, July 26th. So I have not handled him since he arrived. I've just been letting him be, and he's, other than the drive home, been hiding in that black plastic hide box the whole time. So I've been checking on him every day by lifting the hide, checking that, you know, he's alive and that he looks okay, and then just setting the hide back down. That slowly habituates him to my smell and presence a little bit. But today I decided I would take the hide out. If he seemed okay with it, pick him up, and I did that. I just held him for a few seconds. We don't want to flood him with our presence or force things on him, but we do want to slowly habituate him to being handled and to who I am and to who anyone else is that's going to eventually handle him. So I handled him literally just for a few seconds, and then I put him back in the enclosure. I put his hide back in. I did move the water bowl. I had the water bowl on top of his plastic hide, and I've put it on the floor now to see if, I just want to make sure he's aware of where the water is, where his hides are, and then he can move around his enclosure. The carpet pythons find their water right away when I put it on top of the hides, but it hasn't looked like he has had anything to drink, so I just moved it to a different location. When the lid was on, he was actively moving around these perches and moving back and forth from the ground to the perches, so he's clearly, because he's freezing now, and he's not tongue flicking, nervous that I have the lid off, and that's fine. I'm going to put it back on. We're just going to do little small sessions like this, a few seconds at a time, a few minutes at a time, and let him tell us when he's had enough and when he's ready to move on to the next step. TC has been here for 5 days, and according to Garrett, it's been 8 days since he ate. So we're gonna see if he has any interest in eating tonight. And he has been staying in his hide other than the one day that I deliberately took him out. Hi, little guy. We're gonna see if you're interested in eating, okay? He's showing some interest in it. He's definitely tongue flicking and moving a little bit. He tried. And he's missed twice, so that's a little odd. I wonder if he's going into blue and having trouble seeing. Now, I didn't ask if he was used to eating off tongs or if he was leaving the food in the tub for him. I may try a different method. I will, but I'm not going to drop the food into the tub on the towel. I don't do that. I either feed him in the tub on a smooth surface or I put the food on a plate or something. So I'm going to go get one to put his food on. Okay, so what I had warmed the rat up in warm water, but I've used the hair dryer to warm it up a little more. And I'm putting it on a plate. And this can also be a precursor to target training. And this way I can set it here for him. So snakes are really good at associative learning. And this way he hopefully starts associating that round target plate with food reward. It also prevents him from getting his teeth caught on the towel or the reptile carpet or paper or whatever substrate might be in here. So if I leave the food item in the enclosure with the snake, I always put it on something, and I also sit and watch. I don't leave them alone with it. I always watch them eat anyway, even if they take it off the tongs, if they're in their regular enclosure or if there's any kind of substrate or anything on the floor. If they're in just a plain tub with a smooth bottom, like a temporary holding tub, then I'll give them the food either off the tongs or on a plate, and I'll leave them in there to eat it while I go do other things. But if there's any possibility that they could accidentally ingest something inside of their enclosure or tub while they're eating, I sit here and watch them. He may be nervous that I'm here if he's not used to somebody watching him eat. So I'm going to put the lid on his tub and I'm going to leave him in here with it for a couple of minutes and come back and check on him. So I left him in here for about 2 or 3 minutes in the dark in his tub with the rat with the lid on. And I see that it looks like from the outside he's coiled back up and he has no interest in it whatsoever. So I'm going to take that out. Now some snakes are ready to eat right away when they get here. There have been some that I've actually fed on the night that they've gotten here, or on the day that they've gotten here. And others I've waited a few days to feed. And it depends on how they're behaving, and that's how I determine when they're ready to eat. I wasn't really certain he would eat for me tonight because he's been behaving very reserved and very shy, and I'm not so sure that he's not getting ready to go into shed. I am confident that he knows his way around the tub and the perches, because a couple of days ago I deliberately got him out and handled him for a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds or a minute, and put him in here without his hide, and he got all over the perches. He found the water, and then I put his hide back in, and he had the choice and control as to whether or not to go in his hide or continue exploring his enclosure. And once I put the lid on, he explored for a few minutes, but then he went back in his hide, and that's where he's been ever since. Even though he's been here 5 days, and according to Garrett, it's been 8 days since his last meal, I wasn't convinced that he would eat tonight, just based on his reserved behavior and his shy nature, and the possibility that maybe he's close to going into shed. We will just try again in a few days, and we'll continue to watch his behavior, and if he starts coming out of the hide and investigating his surroundings more, then that's going to be a clue to me that he might be ready to eat. The snakes that I have fed the first night that they've been here, for example, have clearly been ready to eat. They haven't been afraid, and they have been reactive to movement and tongue flicking and coming forward as if to look for food. And so those are usually the bredli that have eaten right away. Carpet pythons in general are just really good feeders. They'll eat almost any time. Most of mine will even eat when they're in blue, but that's not the case with some other species. And so you have to treat them all as individuals, and you have to treat each animal within the same species as individuals as well. Okay, I got to thinking that since I fed Ceti, or attempted to feed Ceti in here, and at some point the rat touched the towel a few times, that it was best to change the towel out in case the scent of the rat was on the towel and he gets confused. I would hate for him to strike at the towel. So he's going to hate me for bugging him again. I'm going to change out the towel with a different one, so that the scent of the rat is not on here whatsoever. And I'm also not touching him because he may be a little bit aroused at the prospect of feeding. And since I messed with him in relation to food earlier, I'm not going to try to handle him now. He certainly seems alert now. That's a good little guy. I just feel better having a fresh towel in there with no scent whatsoever of the rat that I tried to feed him earlier. He might go to sleep and wake up and smell that rat scent and decide to strike at the towel, and I would feel horrible if he ingested it or got his teeth caught on it. So this is a brand new towel that just came out of the wash. The tub should be free of any scent of that rat. I'll give him another few days to settle in now without handling him or bothering him at all, unless I start to see him come out on his own and interact more with the enclosure. if he does that, then certainly I'll give him the opportunity to eat again or interact with me. But as long as he's being shy and reserved, I'll check on him every day to make sure he's okay, but I'll give him several more days before I try to actually do anything with him, like handling him or feeding him. Hey everybody, it's Lori. Thanks for joining us at Behavior Education. This is our first Super Dwarf Sunday, and I didn't think that we would have Ceti, TC for short, out today because he's been very reserved and shy. So I tried to feed him last night and he wasn't interested in that at all. And I bugged him a few times, changing out his towel, giving him water, changing out some things in his enclosure. And today suddenly now he's social and he's active and he wants to be out. So that's great. This is the most active and inquisitive he's been since he arrived. It's been 5 days. Today's July 28th, 2019. He got here on the morning of July 23rd, 2019. When I say I tried to feed him last night, it was actually early this morning, about 3 or 4 a.m. And he wasn't interested in that at all. He struck at the food a couple of times and he didn't grab it. So then I thought, well, either he's just still scared or maybe he's getting ready to shed and going into blue. But now that we got him out to make a short video today, he's active, he's inquisitive, he's being fantastic. So I'm really happy to see that. I did not think that we would be getting him out today on this inaugural video for Super Dwarf Sunday, but we have. So he's been out about 3 or 4 minutes now, and I'm going to go ahead and put him back because we don't want to push things. Hey, you are the cutest little guy. Let's go back in here. There you go. Perfect.